have won it all. High fly ball into right field. She is gone. He struck him out.
2 balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. It's his way back. Walk the ball. Chris Taylor.
What's up, Dodger fans? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, and today we're talking some bad news that the Dodgers received late last night, which is that Chris Taylor has a small fracture in his left foot and is out indefinitely. Here's the timeline of events. Saturday, he plays the game and leaves with what was described as a left foot contusion, sits out Sunday, returns Monday, crashes into the wall, leaves the game. You're thinking maybe it has something to do with that. It's announced later he had swelling in his left ankle. He goes in for a CT scan and they find a slight fracture. Here's what Taylor had to say, quote, "I thought I would be able to play through it, and it progressively every inning got worse and worse to a point where it wasn't worth continuing to try and push it," he said. Dave Roberts has not announced an official time frame, but did have this to say, quote, "Very disappointed, obviously, to lose a player like CT. Hopefully it's not too long term. I think once we get the swelling out, I think it's going to be one of those per his tolerance. So hopefully it's not more than a couple of weeks." Chris Taylor on the season, a 728 on OPS with 6 home runs, although he is striking out at a career high rate. And so on paper, a guy with a resume like Taylor seems like a big loss, but as I said, 728 hasn't been his best season. So the obvious follow-up question is then, what do the Dodgers do from here? What are their options? And the truth is, in a season where there have been lots of moments where you say, man, is there any depth on that bench? Is there anybody that you trust? The answer right now might actually be yes. The first guy that we're going to talk about is a guy who's come up with a number of big hits, especially of late, and that is Trayce Thompson. Trayce Thompson, since coming over in a trade to the Dodgers, is 11 for 36 with 3 doubles and 2 home runs. That works itself out to a 306 batting average, 359 on base percentage, 556 slugging percentage. Obviously the big home run the other night. He had another RBI single last night as well. And so you're looking at Thompson as a guy who can slide into left field. That's his natural position, is out there in the outfield. Defensively, probably average. It's got a small sample size for a career, so it's hard to tell exactly what you're getting, but I would say he's probably average, and honestly, that's fine. Like, you have Cody Bellinger in center field and Mookie Betts in right field. You can deal with that. As far as splits, lefty-righty, do they platoon him? He actually doesn't have any real noticeable splits in his career, and so if he keeps on hitting, he could become sort of an everyday left fielder. Obviously, Gavin Lux, another option, a guy who could play some left field, not as naturally as Thompson. And then the third name to watch is Jake Lamb. And Jake Lamb's an interesting one. Smaller sample size even than Thompson, just 10 at-bats so far, but he is 3 for 10 with a double and a triple. He's got a 300 batting average, 417 on base, 600 slugging percentage, and he's a lefty, so it brings a little bit something different to the Dodgers lineups. Historically has hit really well against right-handed pitching, has struggled against left-handed pitching. But with Lamb in left field, it's not as natural of a fit. He could do it, but defensively you're probably sacrificing even more out there than even with a guy like Lux. But if Lux shifts out there, Muncy shifts to second base, maybe there's a way to find Jake Lamb some time either as a designated hitter or somewhere in the infield. So as weird as it sounds, with Chris Taylor out, again, indefinitely, Dave Roberts saying just hopefully a couple of weeks, the Dodgers do have some options. Trayce Thompson, Jake Lamb, both guys that I would say you don't hate having to put out there. Hanser Alberto could slide in as well, though offensively he probably brings you a little bit less than those two. So devastating news for the Dodgers to lose a guy like Taylor, somebody that is beloved in the locker room, outside of the locker room, and yet a guy who maybe this is sort of a push. Maybe this isn't a huge blow to the Dodgers offense if Thompson and or Lamb can continue to produce. So let us know what you think below. If you were Dave Roberts, would you go Trayce Thompson every day in left field? Would you platoon him with Jake Lamb? Would you get Gavin Lux sometime out there? I know that's a controversial thing in Dodger land. Let us know below. Again, my name is Jeff Spiegel. This has been Dodger Heads. As always, check out DodgerBlue.com for the latest. DodgerBlue1958 on social media, and of course, here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell. Stay tuned later this week. Daniel Starkin and I will be here doing a trade preview, breaking down 7 to 10 options, guys that the Dodgers might target in the coming weeks. We're going to be recording that live from Las Vegas in the Wynn Blue Wire studios that are in the Wynn Hotel, so it should be a fun one there. So make sure you check it out. Again, my name is Jeff Spiegel. We appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time.